Hey guys, we are back, episode 2 of Eastside Hockey Manager with the Boston Bruins. Just get all the self-promotion out of the way early, episode 2. Please drop the video a like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you could just do that, I'd appreciate it. And that would be that. So, all right. So I said I would play until December 1st, and that's what I did. And it has been a good start to the month for the Bruins, or a good start to the year for the Bruins. I mean, we're in 6th place in the league, but I'll show you our record here in a minute. But the first thing I want to do is kind of go through some of the additions and some of the changes that have been made to the team in the short term, or I guess in the long term, in the 3 months that we've been playing. So let's go back and let's look at. Here, we'll just go back to August. We'll look at all the deals, really. So Pittsburgh traded Teddy Bluegers to the Hurricanes for a second and a third. Alex Kerfoot to Ottawa in exchange for the rights to Chandler Romeo. Cody Ceci traded to Montreal for the rights to Jaden Struble. Mackenzie Blackwood traded from the Devils to the Coyotes for a second-round pick. And then Ivan Barbashev traded from St. Louis to Vegas for a couple of thirds. That was in August. September was when we made our first deal. We sent Nick Foligno to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for a third and a fourth. We ended up flipping this 4th-round pick in October, and I'll show you that deal in a minute. Michael Bunting traded from Toronto to Calgary in exchange for the rights to Cole Jordan, Cole Huckins, and a couple of draft picks. So Toronto adding 4 players for 1, very un-Toronto-like. We go to October, and this was 2 separate deals, but I'm basically going to treat it as one. So the first one, Radko Gudas traded from Florida to the Blackhawks in exchange for the rights to Landon Slaggert and a couple of third-round picks. And then for us, the first deal we made is we offered up Mike Riley, and the Islanders came back and offered us a first and a fourth. And I jumped at it, and my fans hated it. Let me see if I can find when did I make that deal? I made that deal on October 21st. So if you go back to October 21st, is it going to be here anymore? Yeah, it's not even going to be here anymore. Yeah. Unfortunately, my fans hated it and the board hated it. And they were all pissed at me. Apparently, the game valued Mike Riley higher than I did. And you can see average rating is how these players are rated per game. And an average rating of 7 is average. Anything over 7 is pretty good. And so it looks like he's been playing pretty well for the Islanders, but to get a first and a fourth was something I couldn't pass up. And as soon as I traded for Mike Riley, they then put Sebastian Aho, the defenseman, not the forward, Sebastian Aho, on the trading block, and we turned around and we traded that 4th-round pick we got from Pittsburgh and Kai Wisman, who was he was in Providence for us. He was signed as a backup. So Kai Wisman and a 4th-round pick in exchange for Sebastian Aho. And Aho, to me, looks better than Riley. He looks more well-rounded. He's definitely a better offensive defenseman. He's younger. He's making $825,000. You can see he's been pretty good for us. 9 points in 16 games, a plus 4, 7.25 rating. And the fans and the board absolutely loved this deal. They thought we got a steal from the Islanders. So all in all, Sebastian Aho, a first and a fourth from the Islanders in exchange for Mike Riley, Kai Wisman. Well, I guess Aho and a first for Riley and Wisman, and then we swapped 4th-round picks. So I'm really, really pleased with the way that worked out. We get out from underneath Riley's $3 million contract and bring in someone in Aho who is making significantly less and is just as good. Maybe not as good defensively, or is he? I don't know. Yeah, he's not as good defensively. Off the puck, 14, 15. Aho, 50. Yeah, I mean, off the puck, he's more of an offensive defenseman than Riley is, but I like that. It's not something we have a lot of in Boston. So those are the deals we made. Nothing made in November, and obviously we're here in December. We signed a couple of free agents over the course of the season. I don't know if it shows. Yeah, it does. All right, so let's go back. All right. So that's a scout, right? Can we filter by just my team? Player transfers. Yeah, everything's considered a transfer, whether it's a free agent signing or something else. We did sign. There we go. Here is our first signing. We signed Alex Galcheniak to a 1-year, $1.28 million contract to give us some forward depth. So far, 13 points in 22 games and a 7.4 game rating for Galcheniak. He doesn't want a huge contract going forward either. I've looked at what he wants. He only wants 2.2, so that's something we may do. But we signed Galcheniak. And I think that was the only deal we made. I think we signed one. Yeah, we signed a Brett Harrison. Yeah, these are all guys we sent to the minors. Harrison, Mast, Elias. So we signed David Ferentz. We brought him in on a tryout. Just to give us a little bit more depth defensively. I figured only 23 years old, it couldn't hurt. He looks pretty good offensively, not very good defensively, but he looks to be a pretty decent offensive-minded defenseman. So we brought him in as well. October, nothing there for us. And November, so far nothing. So those are the moves we've made to this point. From a record perspective, we're 13-5-4, and that puts us in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. If we look at divisional standings, we're in 3rd place in the Atlantic. Florida 15-4-4, Tampa 16-5-1. So we're playing pretty well. In 3rd place in the Atlantic and 6th place overall. Power play 22%, PK at 82. Only 4-3-3 in our last 10, so you can see we were 9-2-2 through our first 13 games, but have tailed off here a little bit down the stretch. 69 nice goals for puts us kind of middle of the pack offensively. 55 goals against puts us towards the top, really only behind Tampa, tied with Detroit for 2nd in goals allowed. Yeah, so Florida with the best record in the league, followed by the Rangers. The Islanders, again, we have their first round pick, but right now they are 2nd in the Metropolitan. Winnipeg leads the Central with a 15-4-2 mark. And in the Pacific, Vegas at 12-7-5 so far. So a tight Pacific division. The Blackhawks 2-19-1, 40 goals in only 40 goals in 22 games, and they've allowed 103 goals in 22 games. So averaging almost 5 goals allowed per game. Not good. So yeah, let's take a look at our statistics. So Taylor Hall leading us in scoring, 24 points in 22 games, 14 goals, 10 assists. He's playing really, really well. David Pastrnak, 21 points in 21 games. He's playing really well as you would expect. Patrice Bergeron, we brought Patrice back. We actually re-signed him. Signed him to a contract next season where he's going to be making $5.5 million. The ratings are still there. The average per game rating is starting to slip, but as long as the ratings are there, no reason not to have Patrice out there every day. He's got 14 points in 22 games. Craig Smith has gotten off to a pretty good start, 7.36 game rating, 14 points. Galchenyuk we talked about. Krejci's struggling a bit, only 12 points in 22 games. Game rating is 6.5. Hampus Lindholm doing a nice job as our de facto number 1 defenseman so far. 7.3. Sebastian Aho we talked about. Carlo having a really nice season so far. It's 7.5. Charlie Coyle struggling. I'm hoping that once we get Marchand back and sort of move everybody into their natural positions, things will be a little better. But yeah, Coyle's struggling a bit. DeBrusque only 3 goals in 21 games, but a rating of over 7. Same thing with Studnicka. Not shooting. He's got 6 goals in 22 games. He's a -3. That shooting percentage is really solid. The average rating is over 7, which is fine. Zacha is struggling. I'm going to move him down as soon as Marchand is back. We may actually look to trade him. I don't know what he wants for an extension. 3.5 for 3 years. Or a qualifying offer of 3.5. All right, well, that's good to know. Zaboral and Clifton, one of those guys will get bumped once McAvoy is back. And then the rest of our guys, you can see we've been splitting time. We got Matt Grzelcyk back as well, and he's been back for 9 games, 6.7 game rating. Not great, but still kind of working his way back in. And then Steen, Wagner, Forbort have been limited playing time. Marchand and McAvoy both are due back in about a week, which is good. So we will get them back in the lineup. Jeremy Swayman, 16 games so far, 11-3-2 with a 2.21 goals against and a 9.23 save percentage. Linus Ullmark, 2-2-2 with a 2.44 goals against, but a 9.31 save percentage. So goaltending wise, things are looking pretty good in Boston. William Karlsson leads the NHL in scoring, 36 points in 24 games for the 29-year-old Karlsson. Mark Stone, number 2, with 35 points. Austin Matthews, Nylander, Stamkos, Connor, Rantanen, Eichel, Duchesne, Kreider, Buchnevich, Pavel Buchnevich, McDavid, Draisaitl, Landeskog, Mantha, Kane, Timo Meier, Barzal, Anze Kopitar, and then finally at number 20, Taylor Hall. So who leads the league in goals? Mark Stone and the Breadman, both with 18. There's Hall tied for third with a bunch of people at 14. Assists, Karlsson, Mantha, Kopitar, Zibanejad, Stone, Ekblad, Riley, so on, and so on. Plus minus, Karlsson, Kreider, Stone, Schmidt, O'Reilly, Kopitar, Adrian Kempe. Penalty minutes, Brad Malone, Ryan Hartman, Rydal, Evgeny Malkin with 36 penalty minutes in 23 games, Sammy Blais, Garrett Wilson, Clifford, Goodrow, Vinny Trocheck, Michael Bunting, who's got the highest overall game rating, Mark Stone at 8.63. There's Taylor Hall at number 5 at 8.45. He's been terrific. So what else do we want to look at? Yeah, if we look at scouting, just to sort of show you what the scouting does. We've had Jeffrey Barrett scouting the Q since the beginning of the season, and you can see now that we've got all of these players that he's scouted along with their ratings. And if we have also a Jeffrey Nadeau scouting Canada. So we get scouting reports from both of these guys, and they may differ, but this is what's going to help us come draft time when you have multiple scouts giving you information. Like Claude Giroux with a slower stride, same thing. So they both like Cataford. They think he's similar to Claude Giroux. So yeah, you can kind of see. Here we have three different scouts. It looks like they all give him 4 stars. So yeah, the more scouts obviously you have, the more confident you can be that what his rating is realistic. So I've had my scouts pretty much focusing on Canada and the United States. I got a couple of scouts in Europe. Got one in Sweden, one in Russia, one in Finland, one in the Czech Republic. Actually, I guess 2 in Sweden. Svensson and Axelson both scouting Sweden, Baranek in the Czech Republic, Bondarev in Russia, and Timu Numminen, in Finland. But everybody else is basically Canada and the United States. So that's how scouting works. And you can change them. You can click, any scout that you want, and you can recall that scout. And they will scout really anybody. You can see they've been scouting people from 14 to 35. I wonder if there's a way to change that. Like, I don't need to be, there's got to be a way. So if let's take a look. So let's recall Alain Bissonnette, and let's assign him to Canada like we did before. Yeah, here we go. Age between 16 and 23. Yeah, we don't want to be scouting 35-year-olds. There's no reason to do that. So he's going to scout. Right now, doesn't have any information because this is now new scouting for him. Where is? So yeah, so that's scouting. I don't really know what else to talk about. I mean, I guess we can sim ahead a few days and just sort of see how the game goes, and maybe we'll get Marchand and McAvoy back, and we'll plug him into the lineup and sort of see how it goes. So it's December 1st. We're just going to go ahead and continue. You can see it lists all the games here, and you'll be able to see kind of how the game works. And this is why it takes a while, because it does go game by game, and it scouts all the games. And now it's the evening of December 1st. We've played through all of the games. Colorado puts up a 9 spot on Buffalo. And we continue. Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of day by day playing in this, just because there is a bit of a delay in between days. So we're now into the morning of the 2nd. Various journalists hailing the performance of Nikita Kucherov. The Rangers put Adam Edstrom on the trade block. I don't have him scouted, so who knows what he could actually be. But I mean, we can scout him and see what sort of answer we get. Maybe there's a lot of development there, and he's just not there yet. Again, we get updates with scouting missions. So Jeffrey Barrett added 13 players onto his detailed report, 1 useful player, 9 decent prospects. So, and then this is Mackay Mitchell is just a prospect that I've sort of been keeping an eye on here. 2-star, 3-star. 2-star, 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 3-star, and 2-star, 2-star. So this is somebody that we have a couple of scouts that like him as a stay-at-home kind of backup type defenseman. A couple guys who think he's going to be a two-way. So I want to keep an eye on him, see if these ratings develop, and if he can turn into a decent two-way defenseman. That's somebody we can go after, and it just gives you the information on him. When you're scouting somebody, you get information, like he's rejecting contract offers from other teams and whatnot. So we're going to keep going. Our next game is on the 3rd, so we got a couple of days here to sim ahead. Oh, I signed another contract, and a huge contract. I forgot that I hadn't mentioned it. So we signed David Pastrnak to a long-term contract, an 8-year, 8-year, $80 million contract. So he will be with the Bruins till he retires, as it should be. The Pasta Man will be with the Bruins until he is 34 years old at this point. I just wanted to get it out of the way. I didn't want to worry about it. Didn't want to have to deal with competition in the offseason. So the Pasta Man is locked in long term. So Ottawa not happy with Brady Tkachuk, so that's something we want to keep an eye on. Players like this will be put on the trade block, so we need to keep an eye on it. Canadian scouting. Andrew Dixon has been unable to unearth any players. So that means we need to go back into scouting, and we need to send Andrew Dixon someplace else. Yeah, I mean, he's scouted the O pretty effectively here, I think. So let's recall him, and let's send him. We want to send him to another country, I think. I want to send him to. So we got 2 in Sweden. Let's send him to. Do I want to send him to Finland? No, let's send him to Russia. Age between 17 and 23. We'll make it permanent. He's going to move to Russia here for a bit. Okay, so Dean Malcock. We have to do something with, same thing with Svensson. So Svensson and Malcock, we have to find new places for them as well. So Svensson was scouting the SHL. Some good players there. We will recall him. And let's send him to Finland. Our Finnish scout is just doing Finland. So let's assign him to a league in Finland. Continent, Europe, nation, Finland. Finnish Liga. Yeah, that's the big one, right? That's the big one in Finland. So we will send him on a scouting. Again, we'll do. I'm not interested in, old guys, but maybe there's a 25-year-old in Finland or something that slipped through the cracks. So there. And the other one was who? It was Malcock, right? Dean Malcock. Yep, he's finished scouting the WHL. Again, that's obviously where Connor Bedard is, so you got a lot of good names in there. 6 pages of potential Bruins, I guess. Let's have him. Czech Republic. Do I want to go? Let's go Slovakia. Same deal. 8-17 through. No, let's go 16. Maybe there's some young kid out there that is the next McDavid. So 16 and 23. All right. And it'll tell us when scouting is done. Adam Ruzicka on waivers. Oh, that's good. All right, so we have a game today. Let's make sure that our roster is set. Tactics. All right, we got Swayman in there. All right, so that's the afternoon game, and now it goes to PM, and here are the night games. So we are at home against Colorado, and we lose 3-1. I don't know if you saw it pop up there, but we lost 3-1. Kaut in Newhook for the Avs in the first, Pasta in the second for us, Landeskog for them in the third. So we lose. Not great, but, can't win them all, right? All right, so criticism of Bergeron. Really? You don't criticize Patrice Bergeron. I'm defending him. You have said that this lack of judgment is the reason why he is a former general manager of the team. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So they didn't like the fact that I defended Patrice. Nadeau. All right, so we have to now go to scouting and go to Ryan Nadeau. Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to have him. Oops, it's not where I wanted to go. We will recall him and we will assign him to our next opposition. Yep. All right. So no notes back on either of our injured players. I'm hoping that happens soon. A trade offer or another offer to Chicago's 2-20. 2-21 now. Oof. Oof. Blackhawks are not good. lot of messages. Ruzicka claimed off the waivers by the Blackhawks. Lafferty. Sam Lafferty. No, we have no interest in him. Why is he so tiny in his picture? He's so little. Anyway, I think we have a game today, right? Yep, we do. At home against Vegas. We lose again, 4-3. So that's a couple losses in a row. 2 goals in the first for Taylor Hall. We were up 2-0 after 1. They scored 4 straight, and then Jake DeBrusk would score with a couple of minutes left. But we lose again. So we were 9-2-2. We are now 4-5-2 in our last 11. You see what I mean? Like, there are good players put on the block. Alexander Barkov has been put on the blocks by the Florida Panthers, and he is on a, 10-year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year, $80 million contract. Same deal as Pasternak. Patrick Hornqvist on the block for the Panthers as well. Gavin Bayreuther. It's from my neck of the woods, Concord, New Hampshire. 28-year-old. Looks okay, I guess. Braden Shen, Luke Shen. A lot of players put on the block. This probably means that Barkov ends up getting traded. I mean, we can look. It tells you what they're looking for. Depth defenseman, depth on the wing, prospective left winger, and a first line left wing. At the moment, they are generally interested in maintaining their existing player roster. So impact on the cap hit. So, I mean, they only have him listed as 3 stars. If we bring in Barkov, like, who are they really interested in? Like, I mean, they have all these guys listed as 3 stars. And what if we start with, like, Smith? I mean, I'm looking at the guys that they're interested in that would kind of line up with what we have. I can't imagine that that's going to come close. See, they think it's a bad... Our assistant coach thinks this is a really bad deal for us. I think this is a great deal for us. The problem is the contract is ridiculous. So, I mean, I think I'm going to hold off just because I don't like the contract. It's a lot of money for, we're already paying one person $10 million a year. If you pay multiple players $10 million a year, you end up like the Blackhawks, who are 2-22. But it'd be interesting to see them end up with Barkov. Maybe somebody to add to, to kind of build their team around. That's for sure. Media is disappointed in Patrick Kane. I'm disappointed in Patrick Kane. All right, so we got a game on the 7th. I'm going to go in and I am going to change my goalies for this one. We're going to have Linus start this game. See if we can win one here. No, we get absolutely smoked. We lose 7-2. Things are not going well for the Bruins right now. We need Marchand and McAvoy back. That is for darn sure. Patrick Brown put on the block. Billy Sweezy traded from Columbus, and Jake Evans coming back to the Blue Jackets. Trey Fix-Wolansky on the block. Meh. Cody Glass on waivers. 23-year-old. Doesn't have a great shot. Yeah, he's not particularly good. Brown placed on waivers. Let's go back in here and make sure that our lineup is reset. So we've lost a bunch of games in a row. And it doesn't get much easier. We got Arizona, which hopefully will be a victory for us, and we want to keep an eye on the Islanders too, right? Because we have their first round pick. Ooh, there we go. There's some good news. Full practice, full practice. Does that mean they're ready to go? Can I pull them off the injured list? Yes. Yes. All right. So, Wagner has got a game rating of 6, so we're going to place him on waivers, and we are going to send him to Providence. We are going to get him back in the lineup, and then defensively, is it Cliffy Hockey or is it Zaboral? Zaboral, 1 goal, 7 assists, 10 penalty minutes. Cliffy, yeah, I think it's Clifton. We have 24 players on our rosters. Anybody want Noshik? No, nobody wants Thomas Noshik. Okay. And I don't want to send Steen. I mean, he's not that good. I can't imagine anybody takes him, but yeah, it's going to be Clifton. Sorry, Cliffy. Nice on waivers. Does anybody want him? No, I can't do it now because I already put him on waivers. But all right, so that means we get McAvoy back, and McAvoy is going to go there, and then Lindholm is going to go there. So we got McAvoy and Carlo. Marchand, get him back out there immediately. Swap him with Zaka. Swap to Zaka and DeBrusk. Hall, Krejci, Pasternak, Galcheniak, Coyle, Smith, Zaka, Frederick, and Studnicka. Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, I think I'd like to trade Smith, but we'll see how that goes. McAvoy for Grizzlick. We'll swap those two. We'll go Aho and Lindholm. Lindholm and McAvoy. We do that. Yeah. Carlo Lindholm. Yeah, defensively. And then I think we go Aho here. Bergeron and Marchand there. Marchand there. Hall and Pasta. In fact, I think we do this. Hall and Pasternak. 4-on-4. Hall, Pasternak, Carlo, McAvoy, Aho, Lindholm, Bergeron, and Marchand. Yeah, I think that's what we go with. All right. So let's sim ahead. We've got a game today. We got a game against Arizona, and it's a game we need to win because we have been struggling. And we do. We win 4-1. There we go. So they got on the board first. Is that PK Subban? Yeah, PK Subban with the Arizona Coyotes picks up a goal. Then we get Trent Frederick, Hall, and then Pasternak. So Pasta with 2 goals and an assist. Aho with 2 assists. Lindholm with 2 assists. Here you can see your away stats here that have all your ratings. So 2 assists for Hampus Lindholm, 2 assists for Aho, 2 goals and an assist for Pasta. So cool. So we win. We finally win a game. Yay! And I don't think there's anything else we need to do right this second. Scouting. Finish Liga. Scott Doug. Cody Glass claimed by Minnesota. Mason Shaw on waivers. kind of a grinder type. Cooper Marody. Michael Hutchinson, the goalie, on waivers. And I think that's going to do it, guys. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. So that's a nice quick 35-minute video. So I am going to sim ahead to probably about a week or so before the trade deadline. That'll give us an idea of where we stand. And when is the trade deadline? Does it actually tell me on here? Yeah, it does somewhere. Yeah, right here, the 28th. So I might sim up through this game here, sim up through this Islanders game on the 18th. So that'll give us a week. So next episode will be this week leading up to the deadline and the trade deadline. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's really in depth, and if you have any questions or anything you want me to take a look at, let me know. But that will do it for episode 2. And I'll just bookend it with, please leave the video a like, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, leave a comment, let me know you're watching, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.